All right, guys. What's up, team? Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. What's up, Pew, Brian, Ray? All right, so we are now heading into what? Is this the 6th week of the government shutdown? We are on today would make it day 34. And so tomorrow will make it the longest shutdown in history. I believe that's right. Wednesday would make it, or tomorrow would tie it for the longest in history. Wednesday would make it the longest government shutdown ever. I think it's going to end this week personally. I might be wrong, but I think it's going to end this week. At least I hope we do. We got some economic data this week, regardless of whether it ends or not. We got ADP weekly update tomorrow at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. And then we got the non-farm employment change data Wednesday. And that stuff should move markets. We'll see what happens. I'm not late. I'm just on time. Am I echoing right now? Yeah, somebody said there was an echo. No echo? Okay. All right, good. It's probably you, Graph. Yeah, NASDAQ is elevated today. Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA up to 207s again. Bitcoin at 108s. Gold sitting still over 4,000 here. We've had some tech news come out this morning as well. A couple small pieces. But Moran approached this meeting as the last one and thinks the Fed is too restrictive. And yeah, but stock futures mostly higher this morning. If you look at the NASDAQ, we're up to 26,180. If we look at the SPY here, SPY's at 684s. The Dow is at 47.7s. Again, NVIDIA up, AMD up, Google up, Apple green 270. Put this up. Yeah, so again, SPY very green, QQQ very green, Apple slightly green, Amazon green. Google is green, Microsoft green. Most things are up. Essentially what we're seeing right now is late reactions to the earnings last week. We did have a bunch of earnings. We got Palantir earnings this evening. Last week, we had a wave of pretty good earnings. We had Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Google, all of them beat EPS in revenue. So as of November 1st, SNAP benefits have been halted as confirmed by the USDA and multiple state agencies. They were not issued over the weekend. This affects 42 million Americans. Government is still shut down, has now surpassed the 31-day mark, making it the longest full shutdown in U.S. history and just 1 day shy of the all-time partial shutdown record, 35 days. Again, the reason the last one was partial is because it got shut down towards the end of the year after they've already locked in a lot of the deals. This one would make it the longest full shutdown because this one shut down as of September 30th. And so they did not make a lot of those deals they needed to make, like SNAP, everything else. So again, if we go past, I think it's tomorrow, it'll be the longest shutdown in U.S. history, unfortunately. Again, a federal court Friday did direct the USDA to report on the amount of funding available in its contingency fund, but the administration has so far refused to use it. I think a judge said that they had to use that money now. The official non-farm payroll report, which was supposed to come out this Friday, is indefinitely delayed due to the shutdown. And so, again, the market's going to kind of pivot to private sector data this week. We got ADP employment, services PMI, ISM PMI, challenger job cuts. And so we're going to cover that stuff. If you take a look at yields this morning here, Here's the 10-year. It's still over 4% after hawkish Powell last week. Powell came out last week during the FOMC meeting much more hawkish than expected for Powell. Much more hawkish. Let me fix this. I think I got the green screen things still up here. Let me fix this. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. So again, Powell came out last week much more hawkish than expected. Said that a rate cut in December is not guaranteed, and yields have been basically elevated since then. If you take a look at CME Watch Tool, and you look at the odds for next month, almost 70%, 69% likely that we're going to cut rates 25 basis points next month. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but 69% likely as of today. Again, we did get a deal with China done last week. We had the president and President Xi meet last Thursday. After that deal, they said we're going to cut tariffs on China in exchange for China halting chemical exports, resuming immediate large-scale U.S. soybean purchases, and ending its export controls on rare earth minerals. We did have a sheet come out from the White House that confirmed the deal, stating China will suspend its new export controls and issue general licenses for rare earths, effectively removing the worries from that end. Again, semiconductor sector is very positive today. If you take a look at NVIDIA, TSM, you take a look at Meta, Microsoft, Google, AMD, all of them are green today. Still kind of riding after last week's earnings in tech and China trade deal, which basically removed the worries about rare exports, minerals. It's a little bit lighter in earnings today. We got on semiconductors this morning, Palantir after the closing bell at 4 p.m. So we'll cover that when it happens. If inflation is truly due to all the printing that happened a few years back, it's just on a lag. Well, yeah, it's always lagging a little bit. I mean, some of it's definitely from that. It just depends on which inflation you're talking about, right? Like, it wasn't just the printing. Like, the printing certainly caused inflation to spike by like 3 years ago, inflation spiked. But it's also supply chain stuff happened in that period of time that caused inflation to happen. And some of that hasn't gone back down either. I mean, a lot of it has, but some of it hasn't. And it's not really going to go down. We just got to hope for, like, stability there, I think. All right, and today we do have ISM manufacturing PMI at 10 o'clock. So we got some stuff to cover today. At the very least, we got ISM manufacturing PMI, which could move things. And I think it's going to move things a little bit more than normal now because of what's going on. We're supposed to have JOLTS tomorrow, but we're not going to get that. But at 8:15 tomorrow, we're going to get the ADP report. Yeah, I'm going to confirm that ADP is reporting that tomorrow. Let's do a poll here. Are they not turning on printers the 1st of December? Well, I mean, in their mind, they are stopping the quantitative tightening. They're stopping the reduction of the Fed's balance sheet, which is a different thing. Sometimes one can set up the other, though. But what they're doing on December 1st is that their strategy is then going to be to stay neutral. Meaning, if one of their bonds, just as to simplify it, if one of their bonds matures and runs off their balance sheet, they're going to replace it with a new one, essentially is what they're saying. So they're going to keep their balance sheet the same size, not necessarily expanding their balance sheet. And so, yeah. All right, let's do a poll. What's a good poll for today? Does the government shutdown end this week? How about that? See what people think. Enlightenment does not strive for victory, it seeks for the truth instead. I would say I'm the top 3 most enlightened ever right now. Yeah, so we got the poll going live. You can vote on that poll now. Yeah, Palantir earnings is big. Again, Microsoft's 15.2 billion investment in the is going to do a 15.2 billion USD investment in UAE. Yeah, and that's after the US is allowing Microsoft to ship NVIDIA AI chips to use in UAE for the first time. So again, US is allowing Microsoft to ship those chips now to use in the United Arab Emirates for the first time. Deutsche Bank cuts Comcast price target to 40 from 44. That's right, Deutsche. Good job. Raises Tesla price target to 470 from 440. Comcast is probably the company that I genuinely root against. You know, like if Comcast came out tomorrow and said we're going out of business, I would not feel even just a little bit bad about it. I'm not saying they deserve it, but you know. Also, let me put some Discord stuff up. Nasdaq's very green on the day, though. If we get a pullback to 26.1, maybe I'll buy that. We're kind of elevated right now and ranging here. And honestly, we are green in every funded. We've got 5 funded accounts. We're green in all of them. OPEC Plus is going to pause output hikes in the first quarter to ease fears of glut after one more boost in December. Flight delays are still persisting around the U.S. as the shutdown leads air traffic controller shortages. And so, again, flight delays continued in U.S. airports with the government shutdown entering its 2nd month. They said that delays, the NY Emergency Management Office said on X that Newark delays often ripple out to the region's other airports. I think there's going to be too much mounting pressure to end the shutdown this week. I really do. I think they're going to let it go to the longest in history, and then they're going to, you know, figure it out. Oh, I'm definitely a Comcast hater. They're the worst, bro. The worst. What's the purpose of having multiple accounts? I think multiple accounts helps me more than I realized it would. Multiple accounts helps me because if I have a bad day in one account, instead of just kind of swinging for the fences in that one account and continuing to push when I shouldn't, I can trade a different account if I really need to, scale down my size, kind of get my bearings back, and then, you know, figure it out. That's what ultimately helps me, but, you know. Yeah, Netflix, an interesting one to watch today. And look at gold. Gold's still over 4,000. Here's Netflix. Netflix is down at 1130s right now, 1130s. But if it doesn't split tomorrow, it'll be about $113 a share. And it's good to see you guys this morning. Hope you guys were safe on Friday. Moran said the alternative data on inflation is not that useful, but on the labor market, it does signal slowing. Also, we have Loop Capital raising NVIDIA's price target to 350 from 250, implying a 73% upside while keeping a buy rating. And so microchips are pretty strong today. Fed's Moran says being too data dependent makes policy too backwards looking. You want to make policy on the forecast. I find alternative inflation data not to be super helpful. The Fed could get to neutral in a series of 50 basis point cuts, but does not need 75 basis point cuts. Economy is not dysfunctional. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to cut 75 basis points right now. I'm not even like, look, people might think I'm being hypercritical. I'm not. I mean, I just don't think we need 75. Even the word 75 basis point cut scares me in regards to inflation. Is there a way to trade Netflix before it splits? Yeah. Again, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. Understand all this stuff on screen. I don't guarantee anything. I'm not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose money. Make your own assessment. Figure it out. Trade smart. Do your own due diligence. We're not liable for anything here. With that said, though, I mean, if you want to trade Netflix, just trade it. It's still, you can buy it today. It's not like it's frozen. You can still trade it. Should I go green screen or no green screen today, guys? Green screen or no green screen? Let me know in chat. Give me your vote. We'll make it a democracy here. Green screen or no green screen in chat. Yeah, with the split, like say you're holding Netflix into tomorrow. Instead of holding 10 shares worth $1,130 if you had 10 shares, tomorrow you would have 100 shares worth $113 instead, right? So you'd get an equal amount of shares, or I should say you get an equal amount of equity in Netflix, but the share count might be different because of the split. We got ISM manufacturing PMI later. Green, fine as it is. No green, no green. I like looking at the mahogany. Green. Green. All right, so right, how many votes we got? We got 1 for green screen, 1 for leave it, 2 for leave it, 3 for leave it, another for green screen, another for green screen. All right, so we're 3 and 3 right now. Why does everybody always have to be so split down the middle and stuff? Even if we look at our poll, well, the government resumed this week. It's pretty much 50-50. It's 47 to 52, or it's 48 to 52. Leave it? Yeah, I'll just leave it. It's fine. Makes you look wicked smart. How about them apples? Green, green. Oh man, we got a whole bunch of... We got a gang of people pushing for the green screen all of a sudden. Where did you guys come from? 30 different people. Purple? Green. All right. I don't have the floating head today. In fact, I guess I could change. On break at work, getting ready to listen to you, brother. Thank you for everything you do. Hey, thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. I try over here. I try. It's been a little bit more boring on my streams lately because we don't have any real economic data, and that's kind of what we do is cover economics and stuff, and we don't have the data to make it fun here. Again, I think we'll probably get it back this week. I don't think it's going to drag on that long. I think, I don't know. Let's look at the odds for when this government shutdown ends. Not boring, just a chill dude with chill news and chill music. Thank you. I appreciate it. I try over here, you know, I try. Oh yeah, man, listen. I went to bed midnight Saturday at like 1 a.m. at night. And I kind of panicked when I woke up the next day because when I woke up, I couldn't go back to sleep and I looked at my clock and it was 7 a.m. And I was like, oh man, I got 6 hours of sleep. What do I do? And I went about the morning like mad. I was like, man, I only got 6 hours. What am I going to do? You know? And then Carol finally told me at like noon, hey, it was daylight savings time last night. And so I was like, oh, I did get 7 hours of sleep. That's why I don't feel bad. But mindset matters, I guess is the point. Hey, thank you, Rando. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, man. Mid-November? Yeah. Okay, so looking at odds right now. Odds right now, 16 or 54% of people on Polymarket think it's going to last past November 16th. That would essentially make it another 2 weeks. That's on Polymarket though. But at the same time, like if you look at the other odds here, it's really like the rest of people essentially think, let's see. 47% of people think it's going to end before November 15th. I hope they get it done this week. I don't freaking know. At least 97% of people think it's going to end before January 31st, bro. Honestly, dude, if this lasts that long, I'm going to go get I'm actually going to go get a sign and then walk out in front and protest, you know. At this point in time, the odds on Kalshi are 46 days of government shutdown. 46 days. Today would make it, I think, 33 days. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I think today makes it 33. Let's see. We had 31 days in October. That would be Friday. 32 in Saturday. 33 Sunday. 34 today. Tomorrow. Okay, yeah. Today's day 34. Tomorrow will make it tied for the longest shutdown in history. So Tuesday, tomorrow, November 4th, would make it tied for the longest shutdown in history. Wednesday would make it the longest shutdown in history. These are just what the odds show. You literally just said 1 in the morning at night. Yeah, but wouldn't they both kind of be true? Like, technically, 1 a.m. is in the morning, but it's really just late at night, really, you know? And so I think even if I did say that, which I don't know if I did, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. That's all I'm saying. Kalshi thinks it'll be past, let me see, 57% of people, 51% of people think it's going to be over 45 days. So essentially 45 days plus. Again, Tuesday would make it 35 days. 45 days would make it past November 11th, I believe, if their math is right. Let me open this up. Yeah. So mid-month is when most people think it's going to last to. That's right, Humble Roots, you know. Yeah, I mean, just to clarify, though, I think they're going to get Snap. I think they're going to get the Snap payments out to people, you know. All right, so look at us bounce right here at the 200 exponential, guys. Look at this level. I talk about it all the time. I love this level. I don't know if I trusted it here, but it's not going to pivot to it often. But if you can wait for that pivot to the 200 exponential on a 1 minute chart, for whatever reason, it works really well. It's literally exactly there. The likelihood that this is bouncing for any other reason besides this level is very low. All right, guys. We also had a IREN stock secure a $9.7 billion Microsoft contract, sign a $5.8 billion hardware deal with Dell. Yeah, I just think if they don't resume the government, they're going to get so much heat for it. All right, so China's foreign minister says two sides should enhance dialogue and understanding. Taiwan issue is China's internal affair and hopes Germany opposes Taiwan independence. Yeah, but he's been doing that for, you know, at least a couple weeks now, Ed. So, you know, I don't know if that's a necessarily like a new update here. Again, Bitcoin's still at like 108s here, still struggling to get up there. Any other stocks you guys want me to take a look at today? I'll try to look at them in the chat. Just list some stocks. We'll take a look. ENPH, isn't the solar sector been like negatively affected though? Like solar has seen some big dips lately. I mean, look at it. You know, even if we put up like a long-term chart, look at solar this year. ENPH down from almost 90 down to 30, 50. And so this isn't necessarily like just a pullback. This is, people are less hyped about solar, man. They're less hyped about solar. It's at 3050s. It was at 339s back here in 2022. People are just less optimistic. I think solar had its couple years where people got really optimistic about it and really hyped up about it. And I think now that kind of dynamic is ending. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong, certainly. You know. You think it's a way to cover those files since they aren't wearing? I mean, Kyle, so okay, let me say it this way. If there was something incredibly bad on those files regarding the current administration, why wouldn't the previous president release them? You know, like why wouldn't the previous one do it? Because that would be a really easy way to be like, hey, this person's not trustworthy, right? And so I don't know. That could be what's going on, or it could just be a story, right? At this point in time, both sides are trying to blame the other in a lot of different ways, you know, to get people on board with their side. Both sides are trying to blame the other one for this government shutdown, trying to get people on their side. And so there's a lot of stuff being thrown out there right now, and it's hard to really decipher what's what, to be honest. So I'm just going to not comment on that one. But yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, put them out. I'm for it. All right, we're at 156 for the NASDAQ. Bouncing at the 200 exponential. I'm just kind of waiting here. We had another good day. I might start trading in the afternoon. Every time I go on Top Step TV in the afternoon, I do well for some reason. Meta? Yeah, Meta at 650s. Should I have held that dip buy I got in? I don't know. Meta dipped a lot. Went down to 640s. It's back up to 660s right now, though, but I think I'd probably be close to even if I held. Still looking at other news. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. All right, so the Fed's Moran, which again is usually more hawkish, or not hawkish, is usually a little bit more dovish. He said don't think we need to move faster than 50 basis point clips. We'll advocate another 50 basis point cut if forecast plays out. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're doing 50 anytime soon either, brother. You know, I think 50 is less likely. All right, I'm going to look at some of the other ones. Some people are asking to look at Meta, CoreWeave, Eli Lilly, Palantir, Rigetti, Intel, Circle. I mean, we can look at Palantir. Here's Palantir on the bottom one. Palantir over $200 a share right now. PE ratio wild. What's the PE ratio for Palantir? It's in the hundreds. Current PE is about $668 for Palantir. That's a wild PE ratio. This thing's up on momentum. So this thing could squeeze higher for sure. But, I mean, its PE ratio is wild. So just be careful. Other ones people asking me to look at, Circle. What is Circle? Is it CRCL? Yeah. It's down a little bit here. You know, it's a recent IPO. And so it only has a small history of movement, but maybe, I mean, I don't hate the technicals of it, where we go up, we pull back a little bit, hold, and then maybe make another test. I don't dislike that necessarily, but I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. Intel. Yeah, I mean, Intel's had a lot of positive news lately with what's going on with the current administration and all that stuff. And so they've seen some pretty big gains percentage-wise just over the last, like, 2 months here. They're up to over $40 a share. So we'll watch that. We'll see what happens for Intel. Intel's interesting. If it gets picked up and starts really gaining some income from all these deals, then it might keep running big. We'll see. Rigetti, Quantum. Yeah, still in the midst of a pullback, but I mean, they pulled back some, and they had the big run. They pulled back a little bit, consolidated, and now some of them are starting to test, not highs, but they're starting to test the top of the sideways range. So maybe they're starting to look, you know, they could break out again. There's Rigetti, there's QBTS doing a similar thing. There's, you know, other quantum stocks, obviously. QUBT. QUBT is not as good, but Nasdaq's starting to creep back up again. Yeah, CoreWeave. A lot of quantum is up a little bit today. Yeah, Meta is just on a deep pullback here. It may be time to buy the dip, but again, I'm not messing with Meta. You know, sometimes stocks dip and then rebound. This one, I mean, it seems low PE, but I'll have to go check what the actual PE ratio is. How are we not in a recession if the government is bailing out companies? Well, because we don't have 2 consecutive losing GDP quarters. We got to have the technical definition of it. You know, we got to have 2 losing GDP quarters. Yeah, I got beat up in Meta last week. And yeah, I haven't heard much from Meta's AI systems, which, you know, like Meta had their Llama AI systems. I haven't heard much news from them lately on that. You know, I know they're getting into like smart glasses, and that might be like a good hardware niche for them. You know, they already have Oculus and virtual reality and stuff. And so getting into smart glasses might be the next step, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, GDP contracted in 2008. I see somebody asking that question. In 2008, GDP declined on the year by 0.3%. By 2009, GDP declined 2.8% on the year. And so it was down 4.3% from its peak from 2007 to 2009. It was the most severe recession since World War II, with a substantial contraction in GDP over the course. So yeah, I mean, GDP went down in 2008. It was a recession, which means 2 consecutive losing GDP quarters at the base minimum, you know. Is Meta a good buy here, guys? Will we cut rates by 25 basis points in December? Put yes or no in chat. Will we cut rates by 25 in December? I think we could. I don't know if we will, but I think we could. Meta back over 700 in a week. Yeah, my son plays Roblox. Weird. Because when you see it on the movies like The Big Short, it felt like sudden. Well, yeah, but they kind of time lapsed in The Big Short. Meta bounce this week? Yes. Yes. Yep. Under 600. No, I really don't like Zug, but I wouldn't bet against them. Bought at 650. Vanguard put a SOU in position in. Yeah, man. Soundhound moved a lot, but and the chart doesn't look terrible. It's just it's a smaller company. Hey, what's up, Chef? Yeah, my weekend was good, brother. Yeah. My son is mostly like getting older, so he doesn't play Roblox as much. My son mostly plays like Fortnite right now, to be honest. Which is kind of, I remember being a gamer as a kid. And I had my stage where I played like, you know, Pokemon games and like all that stuff. Eventually I moved on to like Halo and Call of Duty. And so I think Fortnite's kind of the new versions of those. But yeah. Never got into WoW. I didn't have enough time. I was always more competitive, like online gamer. You know, I played like, I remember I played the Lord of the Rings MMO, whatever that was called. I can't remember. I didn't play it enough to make it like, you know. I played some MMOs, but I didn't end up playing World of Warcraft. Microsoft restructures its OpenAI ownership, giving them 4% more of the company. Partnering with IREN would allow Microsoft to expand computing capacity without building new data centers or securing power, two of the biggest hurdles. RuneScape. Played a little bit of RuneScape. Look at Meta, though, guys. This dip does look kind of juicy here, too, for it. Like, look at this. But again, I've gotten beat up the last 2 days trying to dip by Meta, and then it keeps on dipping. And so I'm not going to do it. You know, I'm just not going to do it. I'm sorry. I just can't justify that right now. I played StarCraft. But again, my favorite game was Halo, to be honest. I still play Halo occasionally. You know. If you want to get beat at Halo, let me know. Dollar cost average? I could DCA. The problem with, look, I'll tell you what, if Meta didn't do this in the last 5 years, I'd be more interested in DCAing into it. But if Meta didn't do this, or Meta dropped from $400 down to $90 in 2023, I might be more interested in doing it. The problem is that Meta ended up ripping back up, and that's great. But just the fact that it could fall hundreds of percent down to under $100 a share makes me a little bit less interested in DCAing into this one. Now it could change. I think they got all involved in the crypto market. I think they lost like 10 billion in the metaverse here, and I think they were just a little bit too early on it. I think we'll get something like that, and that's kind of what they're working on. But I think this is too early. They got too early into the metaverse and lost billions. I'm not saying that's gonna happen again, but I'm less interested in doing it. I played Duke on a long time ago. I played that. I'm not against buying a little meta right now. I've just lost the last few days trying to buy it, and so I'm just less interested in doing it right now. Listen, Einstein says the definition of insanity. I think it was Einstein. I think they attribute it to Einstein. I don't know actually who said it, but he said it's continuously trying the same thing, expecting a different result. I'm not trying to be insane with meta, even though it does look kind of good for a bounce. I'm just not. Yeah, I think after a certain point, I've got to lay my hat down trying to dip by meta. You know? We're talking video games. Tekken was fun. I always liked Tekken. When Tekken came out, the graphics were like, wow, you know. That shows you how old I am. If you look at Tekken graphics, I'm sure it doesn't look good today. The 3D aspect of Tekken as a fighting game is what made it cool, though. Anyways, we're going down. We're at 150. I'm looking at 150 right here. We've already bounced right off the 200 exponential, and so I don't know if I necessarily want to target that level again. I think it's too sideways for me. And we're up a lot already, and I think the upward trend makes sense, but we'd have to pull back to like a larger number here, I think, for me to be interested in buying it. So I think I just want to wait. I played a little Counter-Strike too. Like I said, I was a gamer. I played a little Counter-Strike. My friend had it on his computer. Feel good about yourself and buy gold? All right, guys, it's now 8 o'clock. BlackRock deposited almost 1,200 Bitcoin worth about 129 million to Coinbase Prime in the past hour. Again, you can see Bitcoin futures right here. Nasdaq's dipping down some here. I'm taking a look at like Google, Nvidia, AMD. Netflix is supposed to split effective tomorrow, I believe, right? Apple now technically red on the day currently. So Apple technically red. It's at 270s though. So Apple, if we take a look at it, has had some good runs. Still kind of flat though from its earnings as we head into the holiday season. I remember Tiger Woods golf. Yeah, I'll do a bear bull poll eventually. Yeah, it could be tax loss harvesting, maybe. We're a little early, but maybe. Possible. All right, so CrowdStrike, Amazon Web Services, and NVIDIA expand the global cybersecurity startup accelerator to drive cloud and agentic AI innovation. So I'm seeing that release just drop right now. Also, Google is doing an 8-part US denominated bond sale according to Bloomberg. Again, this is again it says it's CrowdStrike, CRWD. Nvidia up, Amazon up, and they're expanding global cybersecurity startup accelerator. I think Palantir earnings are interesting. You heard Buffett stepping down? Yeah, I mean, Buffett, it's time for him to step down. He's 90-something years old. Again, I've said this argument a bunch, but it's important for people to understand. Nobody is making multi-billion-dollar public company decisions in their 90s. I promise you they're not. You know? I promise you they're not. He might be sharp for 90, but sharp for 90 is still probably slow for 70. You know what I mean? So, like, that's just... I don't think it's going to be a big effect on the company for Burke. You know? And I think it's probably time he steps down. All credit to Buffett. Genius investor. Genius investor. But... get off my lawn is all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. All right, look, we're bouncing here at the 200 exponential again. Let's see if we actually hold here at the 200 EMA. Burke has the largest cash position it's had leading into him being gone. No, Burke is up. Look, here's Burke Class B shares. Burke Class A shares. What a price. Man, I would be so upset buying $725,000 worth of shares and getting one share for it. Even if it's that shares, I guess if it goes up, it doesn't freaking matter, but... All right, NASDAQ breaking down under this level here. Again, I'm kind of waiting for a larger pullback if I'm going to go long here. All right, there's under 200 EMA. Look at this drop. Nvidia's pulling back some. Grandpa was investing in the 50s. Yeah, I mean, let him live his life now. I'm sure at that point, he's done. He probably wants to keep working. Again, Michael Saylor's strategy buys almost 400 Bitcoin for $45.6 million. They bought $45.6 million worth of Bitcoin at an average price of $114,771. Achieved a Bitcoin yield of 26% year to date as of 11/2. And they said we hold 641,205 Bitcoin acquired for $47.49 billion at 74,000 roughly per coin, according to MicroStrategy. Again, NASDAQ coming back down. We're at 26,138. 26,138. Yeah, I did see that the chip restrictions in China ramped up. I think he announced more, not in China. But I think, did he put restrictions? I read something about that this morning where I think he put restrictions on using China chips in the US, just as China did with us, right? Like one of the things that I talked about last week is that we got a deal done with China, but in China, they're still restricting US chips there. They're discouraging people from buying US chips is the easiest way to put it, right? And I think we're probably doing something similar to that here, which I can't even really get mad at each side for. I think that's pretty normal. Like, hey, you should buy our chips versus other countries. I understand it. Is the market opening up in 25 minutes? No, it was daylight savings time. It is now 8:05 p.m. or 8:05 a.m. We still got about an hour and 25 minutes until the market opens. We also have ISM manufacturing data coming out today. So we do have ISM coming out today. Again, so Berkshire's profits rise 17% thanks to a mild hurricane season. Yeah, so Buffett's stepping down in January. They did a $9.7 billion investment in OxyChem, but they made $381.7 billion, or they have 382 roughly billion in cash. They've been sitting on at the end of September. So, all right, we're now under the 200 EMA here. Ripple launches digital asset spot prime brokerage for the U.S. market. U.S.-based institutional clients are now able to execute OTC spot transactions across dozens of the most prominent digital assets, including XRP and more. Yeah, it was November 2nd, yesterday, daylight savings time. We gained an hour. So we are an hour behind what time it would normally be. So if we didn't have daylight savings time, it would be 9:07 market time right now. Instead, it is 8:07 market time. Yeah, 10-year currently rising on low rate cut odds for December here. 4.11% as we speak, 4.11%. It's elevated today as well. Look at it popping up some here. 4.11%. Yeah. I want to maybe buy this, but we're now under the 200 EMA. I'll give it a second. Again, the Fed rate cut odds. On Semi just posted numbers here. So here's On Semi. On Semi earnings just came out. We'll put this up. All right, look, here's On Semi right here. They just came out with their earnings. You can see their earnings in the chat. On Semi posted 63-cent EPS, expected 59. Revenue of 1.55 billion. They expected 1.51, so better than expected revenue and EPS. Q4 revenue guidance is at 1.48 to 1.58 billion. They expected 1.52 billion, so kind of in the middle range there for guidance. Q4 adjusted EPS guidance 57 to 67 cents. They expected 62, so again, right around the middle range for guidance here for On. And they're kind of underwhelmingly reacting here. They're at $52 a share on this, and you can see the numbers in the chat. Yeah, On Semi hasn't really moved from this. Taylor's the new Buffett. Well, kind of. You know, I'll tell you this, like, I think I'm a big believer in diversification, right? Diversification is generally good, of course. But most billionaires do not get rich from diversification. Most billionaires do not make their money through diversification. Most billionaires actually make their money through seeing one thing they really, really like and investing and going super heavy into that one thing. You know, and then if they're correct, that's when they become billionaires. That's how it most of the time. That's how it happens, actually. So. Well, that's probably true as well. Check. All right, so we're still dipping down. We're at 26,130s. Energy, yeah, energy definitely related to it for sure. A lot of them at least. All right, guys, we're gonna get ready to trade. We got ISM manufacturing PMI today, so we do have some stuff coming out. It's gonna be at 10 a.m. ISM manufacturing. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to have. Okay, so Wednesday we actually have the ADP employment change. Tomorrow we actually don't. They're not going to release their weekly report for ADP. This is actually around 100 right here. So this is roughly 100. It's a whole dollar number. This is technically, it's at 99.75, but it's basically 100 here. And so I'm looking at it as the $100 level. A lot of the time markets react to whole dollar numbers, right? So here's 150. And you can kind of see how much they've reacted to 150, 175. Or here, 175 is about right here. You can see they react to 175. But again, here's 100. And so I just look at quarter dollars. That's his ultimate long 1000x leverage. I hope crypto turns around this week, bro. I genuinely hope it does. We'll see. You know. ADP is private payroll data. It's also a private company. So they compile it. It's not the government data. Again, OnSemi did report numbers. They're not really moving, though. Like, you can kind of see it. Here's NVIDIA. NASDAQ's trying to get back over the 200 EMA. Part of this is because NVIDIA is bouncing right here at 206. Let's see if it holds. We got ISM PMI data today at the very least. Tomorrow, I guess we don't have the ADP data. The SOFR rate at 4.22%. Previous was 4.04%. Volume at US dollar 3.211 billion. Previous was 3.098 on October 31st. 22 basis points above top end of Fed fund target range. And I'd usually turn off the Christmas music, but listen, it's the day after, it's the week after Halloween. It's time. Now I'm allowed to post it, I think, right? Let me know in chat. Bro, Nick Diaz would be a wimpy fight for Jake Paul to take, bro. He better not take Nick Diaz, dude. Nick Diaz, in his prime, he was great. Bro, that dude's old now. Come on now. I heard he wanted to fight Francis. Let him fight Francis. I'm okay with that fight because he would never win, and I doubt he would ever do it. Anyways, NVIDIA ripping up right now. Look at NVIDIA back up to 206.40s. Oh, yeah, you definitely can pawn, you know. I mean, it might dry out, but, you know. What happens when the shutdown ends? Does all the data come out at once? Probably not. I mean, well, they'll probably resume the government, schedule the data at specific intervals, right? Some of the data they might just scrap altogether because we don't surveys. Some of the surveys are needed and they don't really have the information that they need to get the data out, even if the government resumes. So I think it'll just pivot to its next available date, to be honest. Yeah, IREN is flying up right now. This is because a deal was done, a microchip deal was done between some big companies and IREN. Specifically, let me find the news. Again, with IREN, I saw the news earlier this morning. Let me find it. I think Pawn might have sent it to me as well. Yeah, so Microsoft, $9.7 billion deal with IREN for cloud compute in Texas. So again, a $9.7 billion Microsoft contract, $5.8 billion hardware deal with Dell. So yeah, two deals with two big companies for IREN. It's up to almost $75 a share now. That's good for it. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Jake Paul tries to fight like Hoist Gracie or somebody, you know? Like Tank was already like a foot and a half shorter than him. Now he's trying to fight Nick Diaz, who, you know, from my understanding has been kind of, yeah. strategic data after government ends? Maybe. Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to say it, Pedro, but yeah. Nick Diaz is on stuff right now, bro. He's had some wild videos come out of him over the last year. I hope he's doing okay. I really do hope Nick Diaz is doing all right. But Jake Paul should never fight him right now. It's kind of mean to do it. You know? Fight Francis. Let him fight Francis. If he's about all that he says he's about, let him fight Francis. I'd watch that fight. It didn't make a lot of money, you know. Bring back Kimbo. Kimbo is not around anymore, my friend. Rest in peace. All right, we're still under the 200 exponential. Again, NVIDIA at 206. All right, we got 13 minutes until 8:30. We don't really have any 8:30 data. I think we were supposed to get import exports. I'm trying to make sure. I'm pretty sure it doesn't come out today. Like, I'll confirm, but I'm pretty sure it's all delayed again. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We still got 760 people here. And when the data comes back, it'll be a little bit more exciting. I'm just waiting for it. You know. Warren Buffett would win that fight with his wallet. Again, Fed rate odds for December. A lot of people pricing in like hawkish Fed. They've decreased just since the last time I looked at them. They're at 67.3% right now. 67.3%. Almost 33% chance of a pause in December. I still think we're going to do 25, 25, 25, but odds are looking a little bit higher for a pause this morning. Still almost 40% chance, 33% chance. A third percent chance of a pause. Yeah, Powell was more hawkish than expected. Although, again, I'll say it again. Powell said the same thing last month. And then we cut rates 25 basis points. So I think Powell just tries to stay balanced. If we cut rates, I think he's a little bit more hawkish. You know, if we pause, I think he's a little bit more dovish. So I think he just tries to stay balanced, honestly. All right, guys, we got 10 minutes until 8:30. Again, I don't think we have any economic data. We're supposed to get import-export prices and trade balance data, but it's all delayed. It's not coming out today. Indefinitely delayed due to the government shutdown. It's the U.S. International Trade in Goods and Services Report. It's released by the U.S. Census Bureau and Bureau of Economic Analysis. It's delayed. Both of these agencies are part of the Department of Commerce and are shut down or furloughed right now. So their website confirms they're not being updated, unfortunately. It was originally scheduled for November 4th, but it's been officially postponed. I guess it was tomorrow when it was supposed to come out. Now, today we do have manufacturing and services. Or no, we got ISM manufacturing data. We got one at 9:45 and then another at 10. So we also have vehicle sales dropping at 10. That might influence things. At the very least, I know ISM data is coming out today. So stick around. Yeah, Jake Paul versus Ralph Macchio. Set it up. Yeah, I mean, if we take a look at the odds here, 67% likely that we cut rates in December. January, January, we got a 56% chance of another 25 basis point cut. You know, we're currently at 375 to 400s. And so Nasdaq's kind of rangy right now. It does look like a downward trend, but I don't trust it enough to take any positions right now. Rate cut in January. Investors are buying into AI that can't spell. It's got to be ChatGPT, right? It's got to be ChatGPT. Yeah, I mean, we should get a government resuming before, obviously, before the December decision. And I think that's pretty likely, obviously. I think almost everybody expects the government to resume before then. And so we should have some data, hopefully, as long as it resumes before like mid-November, end of November. I think we'll at least have some data to guide the Fed in their meeting in December. Now, we don't really know for sure. But yeah. All right, guys, we got 6 minutes left until 8:30. We'll see if the market moves a little bit at 8:30. And again, we do have manufacturing services PMI. We had On Semi post good numbers, but mixed guidance and basically flat numbers. And On Semi is at 52 right now, up a little bit. Nvidia pushing back up here. Now, remember, Nvidia all-time highs are at 212, so we're at basically 207, 206.50. We're close enough to try to make a move up, especially in terms of Nvidia, which can make big percentage moves. But it's trying. Again, if we take a look at Bitcoin here, Bitcoin still a little low. Got down to 106 on Thursday. Rebounded back up. We're now still getting a little bit closer to that level here. We'll see. OpenAI IPO. I think it'll probably do really well regarding OpenAI. I think OpenAI, even though I don't really use it as much as I used to, OpenAI, the problem is that it's too worried about confirmation bias. Like, OpenAI has confirmation bias. What do I mean by that? I mean, OpenAI is more likely to lie to you to tell you something you want to hear versus telling you what's actually factual. Again, I'm not allegedly, I'm not an investment professional. I might be wrong here. From my personal subjective experience, that's true. And so I've pivoted to other AI sources just because OpenAI will basically just tell me something that might not be true, and I had to back check it too much. And so, yeah, I use like Gemini and some other ones, to be honest. Hey, what's up, Goose? All right, around 14 potential issuers are looking to raise capital in the U.S. IG primary market, according to Bloomberg, cited an informal survey of underwriters. They see around $55 billion of issuance this week. We won't have a market top before OpenAI goes public, sets a new record in negative PE and gets rugged. Yeah, Palantir earnings today are big. Again, Palantir's at $200 a share right now. 205. That's crazy. Let's see if it holds from earnings. I think it'll still do really well in its IPO. You called me bro yesterday. I call everybody bro. I call my son bro. I say my daughter bro. I call my wife bro. I use Gemini and some other ones. Evercore ISI advised buying U.S. stocks, saying the S&P could hit 7750 by the end of 2026 as key signs of market top are missing. But look at this. 1.09 billion in revenue is easily beat. Yeah. Again, Goldman Sachs thinks a potential shutdown could hit the economy hardest on record. Economist Alec Phillips warned U.S. government shutdown could have the largest economic impact ever, likely lasting a longer than 35-day 2018-29 shutdown and affecting more agencies A six-week shutdown could cut Q4 growth by 1.15%, with a rebound expected early next year. He said disruptions from air traffic control to food stamp programs are putting pressure on Congress to end it. Also, Moody's ratings upgrades ASML's rating to A1 and outlook is stable. Look at this drop coming right at why is the NASDAQ falling like this? What stock is dragging the NASDAQ down? Does anybody see it? I mean, it's not a big drop, but something's flushing down enough to make the NASDAQ fall. Could be the Goldman Sachs thing I just read, maybe. AMD earnings tomorrow. Yeah, I think AMD will be interesting. Is it Meta? Yeah, Meta at 650s. Meta's dropping for sure a little bit. It's not a big drop, but this drop isn't huge either. So I'm just trying to see what stocks are correcting a little bit. We don't need AI. Well, we don't need automobiles. We don't need airplanes. You know, we don't need trains. I don't know. I just felt like that was the next step. My friend told me to watch planes, trains, and automobiles. I tried to watch it yesterday. My wife, daughter, and son both vetoed that and said we're watching Home Alone. Let me know which one's better. Rest in peace to John Candy, you know. Is it Apple? Apple's dropping for sure. Apple's technically red on the day as well. Yeah, no, I like planes, trains. Yeah, that's what my family said. They were like, Home Alone's more for kids. And I was like, I know. My son might be just a little bit too young to watch planes, trains. My daughter would like it, I think. My daughter and I are watching The Place Behind the Pines. Great movie. Great movie. All right, guys. NASDAQ's still falling here. Again, Goldman Sachs says the shutdown could hit the economy hard. They think if it lasts over 35 days, like 2019, it's going to affect a lot of stuff. A 6-week shutdown could cut Q4 growth by 1.15%. Rebound expected early next year if it happens, though. They said disruptions from air traffic and food stamps could cause pressure. And hopefully Congress will move to end it. Again, Evercore ISI advised buying U.S. stocks, saying the S&P could hit 7750 by the end of next year. I think the S&P wants 7,000 as well. Yeah, Jake Paul versus Frodo. Set it up. Gollum, maybe, you know. All right. Again, NASDAQ is so flat right now. It's hard for me to trade this. Remember, money's not made in trading, it's made in waiting. And I gotta wait right now. I'm sorry, guys. Might not be the funnest stream. But we're just sideways here. We're not really moving that much either over the last, like, 30 minutes. This is the price action over 30 minutes. Look at this move up, though. Here's the 830 run here. Maybe some stuff is coming in. I thought a judge ruled they have to pay out Snap. It did. It's supposed to be today, too. All right, look at this green candle here. The 830 candle, so it could be some algos or whatever, just picking stuff up, but... Look at the green showing up in charts here. Markets are looking a little bit more interesting. MongoDB CEO Dev steps down and is replaced by Cloudflare executive CJ Desai. According to CNBC, they expect Q3 results above guidance for MDB. Eli Lilly is also going to build about $3 billion manufacturing facility in the Netherlands site to bring 500 manufacturing and 1,500 jobs. 2 more U.S. locations for expansion will be announced in the next few months, they say. Gold headed down, is it really? I mean, gold's up though on the day. Gold closed at about 4,013, so it's green on the day, I think. There's not really an the only thing there's today is Palantir earnings this afternoon. Palantir numbers come out right at 4:05. We also have HIMS and some other ones. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. We do have ISM manufacturing PMI today, so we got something going on. Yeah, we got manufacturing PMI today. ISM one too at 10, which is the big one. Yeah, so we got PMI coming out for sure. We got regular PMI at 9:45, and then 10 we have ISM, which is the Institute of Supply Management Purchasing Managers Index, dropping at 10 a.m. about an hour and a half. So we'll cover that when it comes out, as we always do. But all right, look at the Nasdaq. It's starting to climb higher with Nvidia here. All right, so now we're getting close to the high of the day. High of the day level is right up here. 182s is the high of the day. Nvidia climbing higher as well. This is a lot of it is from microchips. Again, Ripple is launching a digital asset spot prime brokerage service in the US. That news came out for XRP. Look at this push here, chat. Wow. I'll buy a little dip here, see if we can get into something. I need a little dip though. We'll see if we get a dip down to like 165. We'll add a little bit here. 168s. I'll add a little bit more if we dip some more. I need some larger size though. I might not get it. I was worried this would happen. Maybe I should have taken larger size. Maybe I can add to it now that I'm green. I'll let it get a little bit higher. All right, we'll add more to this and see if we push up to the highs of the day. There we go. Close to the highs. Even if we dip, I might be able to add some more to it, but it just depends on how much we dip. Yeah, we're gonna look for like a bounce here. 5. I might not have time to get it. Honestly, last week was such a good week for my trading. All right, there we go. U.S. Department of Treasury Duffy says, there might be transportation, that seeing rolling thunder through air traffic systems as FAA controllers will have to second jobs. There will be a long-term impact from this shutdown. All right, we're very close to the highs of the day here. There we go. I was just about to buy that too. Oh well. Gold's still elevated higher. I'll add to this. Like I said, I'll add down to 165 as I think the plan. If I get a chance to. Doesn't look like I am. All right, there we go. All right, I'm gonna take a piece of this off. Oh my gosh, it pulled back right when I did. I think I still bought some profit there, but I'll have to add back on a larger dip here. That's fine. All right, we got 3 now. I'll add up to like 5, I think. We'll add 1 more. And then we'll just wait. Looking for this bounce level right here, so I'll let it test. Like 5 right there. Then we're gonna leave it. Could be a bull trap too. We got really close to that high of the day and then pulled back big quickly. So Alphabet is looking to raise $15 billion from the bond sale. Again, Duffy said we are 2,000 to 3,000 air traffic controllers short. I probably got to cut this, guys. We took a little risk, but I'm definitely going to take some size off here, probably. Make it small. We had a little cushion on the day, though, so we'll leave 3. Again, Duffy said we are 2,000 to 3,000 air traffic controllers short. Crypto's bouncing a little bit. It's at 108.50s here. 108.50s. All right, so we're trying to get up. If we continue. Yeah, I don't know, Mo. Should I sell minutes before? Or I don't know. All right, there's the rebound back up. We're kind of flat on the rest here. Now we're actually technically green. Let's see how far it pops up here. There we go. I'll take a piece of that off up there. We're basically flat on this trade now. A fast rebound back up here. Take a little piece off up here if I can. All right, we just got out that. Might add back on a dip right here. There we go. Took another piece off up there. So the ECB's kosher says inflation expectations are relatively stable, anchored. Loop Capital raises Nvidia price target to 350 from 250. I want to let this test highs if we can. That's why I'm sitting in this still. There we go. Here's the highs. I'm going to cut it right there if I can. Let me actually just manually sell right here. We got out pretty close to green. Or no, we were green on it. Yeah, we made money on that trade. Got in a little early is what it was. And again, I think this dynamic makes sense, right? When we're really close to highs, what I try to target is, a lot of people told me right here that it was a sell too. So, I mean, but when we get close to these highs up here, it becomes more likely that we're at least going to test them. Momentum steps in. They might try to fake everybody out, but we made money on the trade. That's good. Look at Nvidia. This is mostly Nvidia pushing up to 207s right now if you look at it. Nvidia's close. We get over 80 in shorts, we'll start to close. Yeah. Over highs, I think people are going to be more skeptical to attack. Nvidia back at 207s. Gold still pushing up though. Bitcoin's consolidating sideways, but somewhat green. Thinking about buying Netflix before the split. I think Netflix has already reacted to the split news, though. I mean, it's up some for sure today, but like I think Netflix has already reacted to the split news. The split news came out here when Netflix was under 1100s. It's now at 1137s, so it's up some percentage-wise from it. I like Netflix long-term as well. I think live sports, there's a lot of stuff they're getting into to make them competitive. It's just kind of one of those things where is now the right time to buy it short-term? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it time to buy Netflix short-term? Honestly, my algo is very good, dude. Look at this thing. I should use my algorithm more. Here's my algo. Look at that thing, bro. Here. Not a bad rip. The other one was here. We got at least a pullback from it over the next like couple minutes here. Now, a lot of these are bottom calls too. Look at the tops right here. Depends on what time it is. If it's the middle of like, it's the late hours, it's not as good. Top, bottom. Even this was the top. So I should use my algorithm more. I really should. Even this one, if it's I call it a scalping algo because like, look, short term, you get reactions to it. A big move too. Probably fair. This one, you got a little bit of a bounce. Probably didn't work there though. I have to use it a little bit more. All right, guys, we're heading into the closing bell. What do you guys think we're going to get? We're going to end this poll. We're going to do another poll. You guys bullish or bearish? Are you bullish or bearish for today's open? Nasdaq looks like it's going to at least test this all-time high level. It's close enough to it. I'm not really interested in buying it up here, though. All right, I got to take this brace off right now. I voted the poll 64% bullish so far at about 50 votes in about 10 seconds. Very bullish today only. All right, again, Transportation Secretary Duffy says airport delays are, quote, going to get worse as shutdown drags on. He warned Sunday on Face the Nation that airport delays will worsen as the government shutdown continues, leaving air traffic controllers unpaid. He highlighted rolling delays already hitting major hubs like LA, Dallas, DC, Boston, and Atlanta. Honestly, personally, I think this has to end before Thanksgiving, right? It's got to. There's no way they're going to let people travel the holidays with this mess going on. There's no freaking way they're going to let that go through. They got to get it resumed. And I also think it needs to be resumed at least a week or two prior to the big holidays. If not, everybody's going to hate politicians more than they do now. Because again, look, it's easy to point fingers at one side right now, and both sides are certainly doing that, you know? And most people are just kind of regurgitating things they hear other people say, and I get it. I'm not really picking sides. I think it's a little bit of both of them. Either way, I think they're going to get a deal done before Thanksgiving. I think they have to. If not, people are really going to start getting mad, you know? You think ADP data will trigger a pullback? Maybe. But if ADP data is low, just to put this into perspective, that's going to increase the odds of a December cut, right? Because that's going to show weakness in the labor market that might justify a December cut more than push it back. And so it depends on what the market wants, whether the market wants a December cut and they react positively to weak labor, or if the market is more fearful of weak labor, which I think you could argue reasonably either one of those sides. Bad data, lower rates, cheaper money market up. Right, that's what I'm saying, Vasquez. It's very possible that could be the reaction in markets that we see. I guess possible that's something we see. Hal turned the money printers on. I don't know if he turned the money printers on. He might have turned the money shredder off, but I don't know if he turned the money printers on quite yet. It's looking likely they're going to do that next year, though. Depends on what the labor data shows, in all honesty. They usually do QE and deeper money printing through like desperate times. 2008, 2020. You know, they did them a little bit in the 2010s too, but I don't know. Money printer goes brr. Yeah, I guess. Money shredder goes silent is really what it is. Again, looking at yields. Speaking of money printers, looking at yields. Yields are still elevated today. Look how much they're going up right now. Yields at 4.112%. Crypto market is like a girlfriend that says nothing when you ask her what's wrong. That's when you know it's bad, too. If you say what's wrong and they say nothing in a dismissive tone, you're in trouble. Let's just be honest. Anyways, we're pulling back. Let's watch 165 here. Let's see if this bounces. We tested the top of the range. Now we're coming back down. We'll see if we maintain sideways. We got 40 minutes until the market opens. Yeah, the biggest difference between men and women is simple. It's that generally, and I'm going to say generally because, again, I say generally and somebody's like, nah, bro, you know, my aunt's cousin's uncle was like this. And it's like, yeah, but we're talking generally. Generally, men want to fix whatever problem it is, right? And so, Carol comes to me and she's like, this person's bothering me, you know, or like whatever. And I'm like, well, this is what you need to do. You need to do this, 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 and this, and then that problem is solved. That's not what they want to hear, you know? They want you to just listen and empathize with them. And that's hard for me to do sometimes. I'm trying to fix the problem, you know? I love you. Have a good day. All right, eBay files for a 2-part note offering. They didn't discuss the size. I mean, I'm careful. Look, again, generally, they would say the same thing. You know? She would probably say you should listen more and empathize and not try to fix the problem. I get it. I probably should. No, we got a good relationship. It's good enough to where I can joke about this stuff and not really have any, you know. Big tech bonds seem to be the new trend. Yeah, I mean, deal's done. Look at 165, bro. I should have bought 165 right here. I talked about it. I should have bought it. Look at 165. I drew the level. That's exactly where we bounced at 165. I should have held. Does she like the beard? I don't know. She's been telling me to shave it recently. All right, again, we got to bounce at 165. All right, we're at 182s. Still testing these highs. I should have bought the 165 bounce. Top 3 dips in the world, and I missed it. Yeah, I mean, Raymond, you know, he should just make better choices, I think. No offense to your friend. NASDAQ is ascending wedge flag on the 5-minute. All right, we just broke highs of the day on the NASDAQ. We're at 185s, 186s, 187s. Circle's interesting. It's too recent of an IPO for me to really think about where it's going, though, is the problem with Circle. Right, like, Circle's interesting, but it recently IPO'd. It hasn't been around for even a year, and so it could make a run back up to those highs. It moves so such a large percentage, though, because it's a recent IPO, that it's hard to gauge. I would say generally it looks good. NASDAQ still pushing up here. And people said my longs were chasing up here, guys. Well, well, well. We're up to 160 or 188s. Don't shave it. The beard is half your personality. Is it like Samson? You know? I'm too superstitious to save the beard. Or to shave the beard. I feel like if I shaved every bad thing that happened, I would correlate it with... Maybe I'm too OCD. I'd correlate it with, I shouldn't have shaved. You know? It's your beard's world. You just live in it. Has the U.S. market opened? Define open. You mean market open? No, it's not open yet. Do we mean, is it tradable? Yes, pre-market's in session right now. Pre-market ends in 30 minutes. Should vote on the beard. Right, exactly, Curtis. Men are probably wrong in that situation. Let's just be honest here, you know? Yeah. Hey, dude. How you doing today, bro? Love you, man.
Hey, Daddy.
Good day of school, dude. Love you, bro. I mean, it could affect the market, Eric. I don't know how much it's going to crash it. It could affect it. Fear and unknowns typically make markets go down and gold go up. And so if you think that's going to happen there, maybe gold is the thing to look at. Is the VIX spiking right now? No, VIX is down to 17s. It was a little elevated. Yesterday or Friday was a little elevated, but today it's down to 17s. It's VIX is basically flat right now. Amazon right now, guys, is what's dragging this up. Look at Amazon. Oh, look at Amazon. Amazon up to 249s as we speak right now. Amazon popping up. Bitcoin hit 108s. Nvidia Loop Capital said Nvidia could reach 8.5 trillion on the golden wave of AI. Why is Amazon up? Does anybody see it? Look at Amazon. Somebody knows something for Amazon. AWS and OpenAI announced multi-year strategic partnership. This is what it is. Amazon Web, OpenAI, multi-year partnership. Amazon ripping on this news. Nvidia popping up on this news. AWS and OpenAI multi-year partnership. Google making moves up. Maybe it's just tech. Something's driving markets higher at 9 a.m. this morning. Again, Amazon inks a $38 billion deal with OpenAI to supply Nvidia chips. That's what this is. Okay. This is what it is right here. I'll put it at the bottom scroller. This is what's making markets go up. Again, Amazon inks a $38 billion deal with OpenAI to supply NVIDIA chips. Spike in markets. Again, this is a $38 billion OpenAI Amazon deal to supply NVIDIA chips. Amazon, NVIDIA, NASDAQ, other tech stocks following up in sympathy here. But Amazon just broke highs of the day, highs of, I think, the last week? Earnings highs, yeah. Amazon just broke highs of the last... Wait, was this all-time highs for Amazon? Hold on. Yeah, Amazon just broke all-time highs at 250.50s now. 258.17. Now, we'll see if it can hold these gains leading into the open. AMD's actually decreasing a little bit from this news. So is Netflix. But again, Amazon, OpenAI, $38 billion deal to supply NVIDIA chips. This is what's going on. $38 billion deal with OpenAI to supply NVIDIA chips. I'm trying to find a little bit more info on it. Yeah, the deal, which announced today, will help satisfy their fast-growing computing needs for OpenAI. Amazon expects that all the computing capacity negotiated as part of it will be available to OpenAI by the end of the year, giving OpenAI quick access to NVIDIA chips housed inside of its data centers. Amazon is under pressure to accelerate growth of AWS and cloud. AWS is the industry's largest cloud service, but Microsoft and Google have, reported a little bit faster cloud revenue growth in recent years. So as part of the new 7-year pact, OpenAI will be able to train new AI models using Amazon's data centers and use them to process ChatGPT queries. Hey, bro. How you doing in here, dude? Hey, bro, listen. I'm streaming right now, dude. Don't mess with any cord. What are you looking for? Paper? Look right there on the left. You see on the chair right there, bro? Hey, dude. How much paper you need? Okay, you're just drawing or something. All right, bud. Love you, man. All right, sorry. Son walked in here. Yeah, but the deal is tiny compared to OpenAI and other companies, but it's still a good deal for Amazon. Amazon reacting favorably to it. Yeah, Microsoft, Netflix, AMD all decreasing from this deal. Yeah, cloud. All right, guys, we got 25 minutes left until the market opens. We do have ISM manufacturing PMI today. We got some data here, some economic reports to cover. I'm excited about it. It's been a while since we had any reasonable economic reports here. Again, Amazon up 6.1%. Again, OpenAI put out something that said that, quote, that will immediately start utilizing AWS compute as part of partnership, all capacity targeted to be deployed before 2026 ends. They said accessing AWS compute comprising hundreds of thousands of state-of-the-art NVIDIA GPUs. ChatGPT will no longer provide health or legal advice. What? Again, I just saw this. That's wild if so. Look at this. ChatGPT will no longer provide health or legal advice. Dude, that's a huge part of their business. You look this up more. That's a huge part of their business, I promise. Okay, so GPT won't analyze legal or medical pictures as of October 29th. Bro, I've been using AI to look at all my MRI pictures of my knee and my foot, and honestly, it's pretty freaking good at it. Like, I'll put it this way. I didn't use ChatGPT for this, but I sent some of them pictures of my MRI without telling them what my doctor had said in the analysis of the MRI. And it basically said the same thing my doctor said. It graded everything the same way the doctor did. And so it's honestly pretty good at that stuff. Legal, I don't know. I'm not an attorney. Definitely not a legal professional. Don't copy me. But that's crazy if they are getting rid of that. Doctors using the chat bot. Nah, bro. Doctors don't need to. They can just look at it. All right, guys. So we're elevated leading into the opening bell in 20 minutes. Again, if you want to help support the channel, check out Top Step. No PDT and futures. I've been green on every funded account that we have today. Or I'm green on every funded account that we have as of this morning, which will be 5 funded accounts. We are net green in all of them. Thousands of dollars in all of them. A great way to help support the channel. No PDT and futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell. Very similar to day trading stocks. Patterns are similar. 90% split once you're funded. If you fail, you lose $50 for the base one. It's the best of both worlds. You can also reset funded accounts. They have some of the most reliable payouts in the game. Of course, they're a sponsor of mine. I am biased because I get paid by them, but genuinely useful for traders. Genuinely useful. A great way to learn when most day traders lose. It makes absolutely no sense to fund your own account thousands of dollars. You're probably going to lose it. Let's be honest here. Most day traders will tell you this. And so check out Top Step. Great way to learn. Here's the link. I'll put the link up, pin it to the top of the chat. Would you rather have the world's greatest lawyer or the world's greatest doctor on speed dial? I mean, probably doctor, just in terms of medicals. You know, lawyers are good and all, but look at AMD's decrease here. So we are seeing a little bit of a correction. Look at AMD go down. AMD giving up the gap on the day here. Earnings this week as well with AMD. Cisco unveiled a new all-in-one product that is meant to help retail stores, healthcare facilities, and factories using AI with a single rack of equipment, according to Bloomberg. All right, so the Senate is scheduled to reconvene at 3 p.m. today. Get a deal done, Senate. Come on now, do it. All right, we're at 26.2s here, 26,200s. I almost want to buy this dip here, huh? I want the top 3 best trader ever. You might get the top 3 worst if you pull me in there. AMD rose a lot based on a deal with OpenAI. You know, for sure. This is competitors for them, so they're actually dropping a little bit. But again, they're not down that much. mean, they're down some for sure, but they can still hold. We're not even into the opening bell yet. Yeah, the Japanese Nikkei, yeah, it's moving wild right now.
One second, they're a neighbor you like.
Bro, I'm over here reading articles on the shutdown and they just hit me with an ad. Who is this ad? ADT? Again, so Snap funding went dry. Amazon's still pushing up. A federal judge did order the current administration to make the full Snap payments by this afternoon or partial payments by Wednesday. What? They're like, hey, you got to pay it all today. And if you don't pay it all today, some of it by Wednesday. All right, so Boeing says closed sale of portions of its digital aviation solutions business to Thoma Bravo. All cash transaction is valued at $10.55 billion. I haven't even looked at Boeing stock lately. It's down a lot, though. Boeing's been in the same range since 2020. For 5 years, Boeing has been up and down between $100 and $300 a share. It hasn't really gone anywhere. Again, here's Amazon, which is moving markets. Amazon's starting to push back up. Again, if Amazon opens up around where it's at now, it'll be breaking all-time highs on the day. Buy now if you want to lose your money. Yeah, I mean, you think we correct is what I'm assuming. Does anybody think that we crashed this month? We're past October. The scariest month for market crashes historically is over. But a lot of people think we're still in a bubble. The problem is that if we are in a bubble, again, the problem is that if we are in a bubble, bubbles can last a long time. Right? So, again, we had the irrational exuberant speech in 1997 by Greenspan. We didn't correct for 3 or 4 more years. 3 years, really, but so we could run for years. It's not like if we're in a bubble, we have to burst today. And so that's the thing. But it's kind of also like picking up pitties in front of a train track if you believe we are in a bubble in that situation, because, you know, you're basically playing the game of, hey, let's hold it until it doesn't work anymore. What kind of jobs will be created due to AI? We know software engineers, customer service, and factory workers would be displaced. What jobs will be offset? And will it impact the economy? Data centers, manufacturing, robot manufacturing, facilitators. Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff like that that's created in tech. You know? Or like consolidation, maybe a -2 to 3%, but I don't expect more without a black swan and can never predict this one. Meta will fall crazy. I'm not trying to buy Meta again. I tried to buy it last week. I'm not really interested in doing that again. Again, Amazon, $38 billion deal with OpenAI. Up big. 257s. Close to all-time highs. We're going to be day trading. You see almost a... This is... Honestly, tell me this doesn't look like a bull flag right here. This is why they call them flags, too. I'm not saying it works. Not an investment professional. Don't copy me. But that looks like a bull flag to me, no? Yeah, Metaverse, you know, they again, Meta lost $10 billion to the Metaverse, and they would drop down to under $100 a share. They ended up flying back, though. Flying back in the AI boom. John, will we ever see a $200 Meta again without a stock split? Probably not, realistically. I mean, not unless we're in the middle of a market crash and everything's coming down and we just drop that much, but probably not. Yeah, no, I'm not saying buy this. I don't really like playing flag patterns, to be honest. I've seen the bottom fall out of these type of patterns a little bit too much, personally, but, you know, there might be an argument for it. But Meta's burning cash like crazy. Yeah, no, for sure. Sometimes burning cash is the way to evolve your company. Again, Ford says total October US EV sales hit 22,207 units. Total vehicle sales hit 175,584 units. They said total US vehicle sales in October were up 1.6% against projected 3% decline for overall volume, overall industry. Also, Apple put out something that said strong demand for iPhone 17 base model continues. Jeffrey said Apple 17 base model remains the strongest performer, showing steady demand across major markets. And Edison Lee noted stable delivery times and rising US market, while 17 Pro Max also did well. They cut iPhone Air orders by 4 million, but increased others. Meta up right now? Meta's still down though. Like, I mean, it's up today for sure, but it's down so much over the last 2 days. I usually like Meta. I tried buying on the dip. I couldn't really hold. I kept on dipping after I bought the dip, but I don't dislike it here. I think it'll probably go green relative to where it's at now with short term. But I'm not 100%. Nothing's 100%. Not liable. I have no idea what's going to happen. But I don't hate a dip buy. I just don't have the cojones to hold through it. You know? Like, that's what it is. Like, my swing trading strategy is simple. I buy these dips, and then I wait. If it dips too much, I'll cut it. And that's what happened with Meta. It's just dipped a little bit. It was too much of a dip for me to stay in it. But with that said, I still think it'll probably go up in terms of odds and percentages. I just, like I said, risk management just makes me stay away from it at this point. But Meta investors are concerned about the company's ability to generate returns from its AI. I haven't heard about Meta AI very much, and it's one of the big tech names that's not really announcing deals like others. And again, Intel announcing deals, Amazon announcing deals, Microsoft announcing deals, Nvidia definitely announcing deals, right? Meta's a little missing in all these deals. No, I haven't really heard from them, and so we'll see what happens with them. We got 11 minutes until the opening bell, a little bit less than that. So again, we'll see what happens, but they're not really announcing deals like that. Yeah, well, Amazon was underrepresented, but Amazon's getting involved with a lot of it too. Should I have bought the bull flag I talked about right here? Should I have bought that? Let me know in chat. 10 minutes left, chat. 10 minutes. They burn too much money, they'll reverse just like they did with Metaverse. No big deal. Yeah, I mean, Meta owns Instagram, WhatsApp, you know, Facebook, obviously. A bunch of other brands. Oculus. And so I think they're pretty diversified and stuff too. The big thing though lately is AI, and that's software. And we're not really hearing a bunch of news from Meta in terms of AI and software, you know. And so one of the things that obviously can negatively impact their company long term is if they do not get as heavily entrenched in AI as some of the other Mag 7 stocks like Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Intel. Not Mag 7, but Intel still. We'll see. Do you guys think Meta will get involved with AI as easily? Let me know. Will Meta stick around the Mag 7 if it doesn't get entrenched in AI? Meta will take off. Everyone is down on SCHD. All right, guys, we're kind of flat leading into the opening bell in 7 minutes here. 7 minutes. People are isolating more and more. Metaverse is coming. Yeah, I mean, I think the metaverse might be coming based off of the strides we've seen in virtual reality technology now. I think it's a little bit different. It's not as blockchain related as it once was. You know, the metaverse was seen as basically a blockchain thing. Now I think virtual reality is getting to a point where it's getting close. I think Meta was just early in early 2020s. I think they were just early. So I've never used Meta AI, to be honest. Yeah, I'm surprised about the medical and law advice thing for OpenAI. I think that's probably one of their biggest percentage things. Maybe liability reasons they're getting out of that. But I'm surprised they're making that decision because I think a lot of people use AI for that exact specific reason. Meta glasses. Yeah, Meta glasses are cool. I'll give them that. I think they're going to keep getting better. Like, I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see genuine, like, Tony Stark-esque. Maybe not Tony Stark-esque, but we're going to see super useful, small Meta glasses that people use. AI related to the people are going to be able to ask AI. And I think that maybe that's one of the ways that Meta is getting entrenched as AI, in AI is being able to ask questions using the smart glasses. And I think that technology is growing. And so maybe that's where they get involved with it. All right, guys, we're almost here for the opening bell. We got 6 minutes. Ugh. Glasses can take over a large portion of the smartphone industry. Nah, bro. That's not happening. The reason it's not happening is because it's less convenient to use glasses. You know, and maybe in like 10 years plus when the technology gets really, really good. Not right now. I just think it's people are gonna still carry around phones. Need the government to open. I'm so bored from lack of news. Yeah, you, bro. Listen, I'm waiting. I didn't mean right now. No, I agree with you. Long term, that might be a thing. But we got time for that. Netflix moving back up. Amazon dipping down. Nvidia sideways. We got the opening bell in 5 minutes, chat. 5 minutes. 4 minutes. Again, hit the like button next to the subscribe button. We will be day trading the opening bell live. We had the big $38 billion Amazon chat OpenAI news. It's influencing markets for sure today. We got ISM manufacturing PMI data, 10 a.m. We got regular manufacturing PMI data, 9:45. We will be covering both of those live as they happen. We got some economic reports. It's not the ones we want. Maybe it's the ones we need. Yeah, we got Wednesday, we got the ADP data at 8:15. That'll move stuff, probably. The Wednesday 8:15 market time, we got ADP non-farm employment change data. It's private payroll data. That should move markets. But we got to wait for that. We were supposed to get a weekly report Tuesday, but apparently when the normal one comes out, they're not going to do the weekly one. Nasdaq still flat, still sideways. Again, the opening bell is here in 3 minutes, chat. 3 minutes. Hit the live button next to the play button if you haven't already, and put it in 2x speed. We appreciate it. Yeah, we got about 2.5 minutes until the market opens, guys. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're caught up. You can also put it in 2x speed. I might sound like a chipmunk, but if you hit live, Johnny Chipmunk will go away, and you'll be real time on the stream. 2.5 minutes left. Again, Bitcoin sideways last 3 hours or so. Nasdaq coming back down. AMD starting to fight its way back up after dipping on the Amazon news. Bitcoin traders often ahead of the stock market. Yeah, maybe. 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. Hit the live button. We appreciate it. Look at AMD on the right side here. Look at AMD. It's fighting its way higher. Meta's still up today too. I mean, it's not red on the day. All right, here we go. 2 minutes. News is light after the AWS news. Small little upward movement. Again, AMD's moving up a little bit ahead of the opening bell. You guys red or green so far today? Let me know in chat right now. We got about 1.5 minutes left. 1.5 minutes left. Johnny Chipmunk? That's my new name, bro. All right, Nasdaq pushing, AMD pushing, Amazon slow, Bitcoin down, Nvidia fighting his way higher. Nvidia hitting 208.05. All-time highs, I believe, are at what, 212s for Nvidia? Yeah, 212s, mid 212s. All right, here we go, guys. We got the opening bell in 40 seconds. 40 seconds. Red, flat, like my ex. Red, green for right now. Flat so far. I'm slightly green, but not much. Nasdaq testing highs of the day right at the opening bell. Maybe not quite highs. 250 or highs. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. Here is the opening bell. 10 seconds. Green. A little red now. Red. All right, guys. Here we go. There's the bell. If your opening bell was delayed. All right, Nasdaq testing highs of the day here right at the open. Right at highs of the day, just broke highs of the day, 252s or so, 255s highs of the day for the Nasdaq pushing up here. AMD pushing up a little bit at the opening bell. Amazon is really flat for the open. I guess the move it made in pre-market is just much bigger on the deal. AMD starting to push here though. It's at 261s right now. Nvidia climbing higher. I gotta wait 4 minutes to trade, guys. 4 minutes. Green, red, red, red. Let me know if you're red or green in chat. All right, look at this retracement here. We're at 242s. It looks strong though. Look at Nvidia at 209s right now. Amazon moving up too. Again, I gotta wait to technically trade though. I'm not gonna trade the opening bell too early. We gotta wait 3 to 4 minutes. Also remember, guys, we have manufacturing PMI coming out. All right, Nasdaq broke all-time highs, or not all-time highs, 263s. Highs of the day, I mean. Didn't really hold up there, though. Broke that high and then pulled back. AMD starting to dip. Amazon retracing. Nvidia pulling back a little bit as well. Let's see if it continues higher. Watch 275 up here. Again, we still got to wait a couple minutes before we really trade. All right, we got manufacturing PMI data dropping in 13 minutes. ISM data dropping in 30 minutes. And we're starting to dip down a little bit now, but very slow, quiet, muted open. We'll watch the ranges here, see if we break out of some of these ranges short term. Bitcoin's not really moving. A lot of stuff's not really moving. I mean, we're breaking highs at the day at the open, but a lot of stuff pushed up and now it's starting to retrace back down here. So we're getting ready to trade, but I gotta let a couple minutes pass first before we really start attacking stuff. It looks like we're gonna maybe try to retest this up here, but it could also trap people. Yeah, here's the retest of highs. Just tapped it. Amazon ripping up, just broke highs of the day again. New high of the day is about 265s. Now it's, yeah, 265s. New high of the day. Meta dipped a lot at the open and started to bounce back, though. So we got some strength showing up. And Nvidia breaking highs of the day as well. Amazon is at all-time highs, basically, also after the big $38 billion deal they announced. Tap the opening range here. Again, we're about 4 minutes into the day. Now I can finally get the green light to trade. I'm going to buy this. I'll take two. I'll let it test 250s. See if it rips back up. And I'm going to cut it. Get out. We're down small. I wanted to see if it would hold 250s. If it didn't, I wanted to get out. Look at that drop at the opening bell here, chat. Wow. If it retraces back up or holds now. Bouncing back up at these levels here. I might buy this again. Let me see. Wait. Right at 220s. Let's see if it bounces here. We're going to try jumping in at this 220 level, but it's small. If we retrace back up there and start to move back up, but the red's definitely kind of big. All right, there we go. We're green. Let's see if we go a little bit more green. We got green in one of our other accounts, but this one, yeah, this is too much red. I got to let this settle down some first. We're still net green on the day. We traded 2 accounts, but this one's just a little bit, play a different one. AMD giving it all the way back. There we go. Big dip. But if it holds. We got the 200 EMA down there that we could target. Still weak, looking weak here, unfortunately. We bounce. Looks like we want to bounce though. $200 is a psychological level, but stuff still looks to be coming back down though. Still dropping at the open. Weak open. Giving back all the gains we've made here. If we hold now. The pop. Got into one trade. What? This one. We got 3. We're right at the 200 EMA, so I'll let this one go a little bit longer. But if it bounces right here. It's close enough to the 200 exponential where I want to see if we get a bounce. But sorry, the music's off. Everybody complained about the music. Y'all want me to sit here in silence like this? Too awkward. We're almost green. Let me see. Where'd the music go? Music's got me. Could add one to this. I think I'll probably take some off right here as we get closer to break even. There we go. See if that was the smart move. We add some back here. Looks to be holding. We get under the 200 EMA. I'm super skeptical of this one. Pop up. There we go. Green. Struggling though. Heavy. But I'll give it a second. I like the 200 EMA right here. But it doesn't look like it wants to hold this level now. I'm going to cut it right here. I don't want to get stuck in that. Try to dip. Looks like it wants to go higher, but it's struggling to. So we did catch the bounce here. I'm slowly scaling out of it. A little bit more off up there. We go a little bit higher. I'll try to hold this break even as long as it doesn't slam me down here, which it kind of looks like it's doing. But we took enough profit to where it's not going to be red. We'll cut it right there. So we're net green on the day, going back and forth. Yeah, AMD's breaking down. Honestly, a lot of stuff's flat. Like Google's flat, AMD's breaking down. Amazon's giving back some of these gains that it made. And Nvidia's looking decent, but things are either flat or sideways right now. Or down or sideways right now. Somehow we're not green on day trading. We're red in one account, green in the other, and then green in another one. Look at that level right here, the 165 level too. We held that one. All right, guys. Hey, listen. We have manufacturing PMI in about 3 minutes. 3 minutes for manufacturing PMI. They'll break it down here. We'll see if manufacturing PMI can change this story right now. Is gold ripping up? Yeah, 4,023s for gold. All right, we still break it down. Again, we got 2 minutes left until manufacturing PMI comes out. We'll see what this looks like. Market should cover this as well. Maybe they'll move a little bit more based off of this report, but we'll see. The regular one drops at 9:45. The big one is at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The big one is in. I'll put timer up for the big one. The first one is dropping in a minute and a half. The next one's dropping in about 16 minutes. All right, guys, let's see what this does to the NASDAQ here. Again, it's expected today at 52.2 for the global PMI data. The ISM one is expected at 49.4. Over 50 means an expansion in manufacturing. Below 50 means a contraction. So again, we do have manufacturing PMI. It's supposed to come in at 52. All right, guys, less than a minute. See what it looks like. It's something. Amazon's starting to fight its way back up here, but AMD, other microchips are down. Nvidia's contracting here. I'm going to wait for this data to show up first, though, and we'll see what it looks like. Again, it's supposed to drop in about 30 seconds. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed so you won't be delayed. And again, remember, stick around for another 15 minutes after this one because the ISM data drops at 10. And I think it's going to be a little bit more market moving than normal just because we don't have any other economic reports. 15 minutes. Again, it's expected at 52.2 today. 52.2 for manufacturing PMI. The big one is the Institute of Supply Management. But this one drops right now. Let's see what it shows up as. And here's the report. 52.5 for manufacturing PMI. 52.5. Versus 52.2 expected. A little bit stronger than expected for manufacturing PMI. Again, 52.5 versus 52. Again, 52.5 versus 52. Stronger than expected here. I'll buy this up a little bit here, but not the most optimistic. It needs to hold 165s. Let's see if we get back over the ISM. The reason I'm buying this, Amazon's starting to move up. We had such a good week last week. Hopefully the good weeks continue. All right, we're in this. There we go. Let's start to move up. Looks good. There we go. I'm going to cut some of this here. Some more up here, and we're going to leave one to just hold. There we go. I'm going to cut it right there. We're going to get out. We're really nicely green on the day. We might actually add another on another dip if we get one. Maybe I should have added on the dip. Again, here is the manufacturing PMI data, guys. Just, again, we told you guys as soon as it came out. But it showed up at 52.2. The big one is at 10. Put this into perspective. All right, guys. ISM manufacturing PMI, 10 a.m. Kind of choppy market here. Let me put the timer up so you guys know when it comes out, but here's the timer. 12 minutes for ISM. It's something, man. I'm just glad it's something. The first one didn't really move markets, and now we're chopping. They might be waiting for the Institute of Supply Management data. Again, the Institute of Supply Management PMI data is expected today at it's expected today at 49.1, which is a weaker report. Last time it came in at what? 49.1 expected, or previously it was 49.1. Today it's expected at 49.5. So a little bit stronger than last time, but it could also come in weaker than last time as well. Again, if you want to see what the regular manufacturing PMI data was, you can see it in the chat. Still kind of flat here. I'm gonna buy this right here, see if we get it along. Got 2 contracts. Add a little bit to it, see if we start moving back up. We're very flat here though. I don't know, actually the only thing I don't like about this is that Amazon started to dip down here. I'll give it a second more, but Nvidia looks like it's at a bounce level. For such a sideways range here, I'm gonna cut it. It just looks weak. Trade a different one maybe. I don't know if I want to short this either. Such a sideways range. We haven't gone anywhere in the NASDAQ in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes here. 7 minutes of sideways chop. We're under 165 though. Let's see if that holds now. I'd say the broader market trend kind of looks weak here though. AMD still flushing down, looking weak. Nvidia's coming back down too. Look at Nvidia drop, chat. Wow. Again, look at Nvidia drop. AMD dipping down too, so I don't know if this is just consolidated to one stock here. There's a bunch of them that look kind of weak here. Look at that drop. Okay, let's see if we chop sideways. I don't know if we're going to, but let's see. Google's back up a little bit too on this news. We're heading back down to 26,000 here. Yikes, look at this drop. Still early though. We do have ISM data in 9 minutes. We also have Amazon bouncing a little bit right here. Nvidia's right at the 200 EMA, so we'll see if we get in a bounce spot. We'll see if the heaviness continues. Google is starting to rip back up some here. Problem is Amazon is starting to retrace back down too though. see. All right, guys, let's see what happens here. All right, there goes NVIDIA back up. See if it drags everything else. Again, we only have 7 or 8 minutes until ISM data comes out. And ISM data is significant. So it's something you want to watch because that data could move things. Look at Google honestly rip it up right now. Look at Google. I'm going to put Google up for AMD right here. Back up to the top of the range. We got a little pop. Let's see if this pop holds. Again, ISM data is 7 minutes here. A little retracement coming in. We fight our way back higher here. All right, so we got ourselves. Let me pull this other back up. Been trading it back and forth. Again, we have 5 minutes until the ISM data comes out. And the ISM data is not small. Please stop spamming, Kesh. I see IREM. We're so flat right here, though. We're kind of chopping back and forth. I almost want to buy this, but I'll wait. Good thing I waited. Again, look at Amazon now. It's under this level here, this 255 level. NVIDIA's looking like it's back up, but it's at the VWAP area. Kind of a flat range here for a lot of these big tech stocks that are moving. AMD breaking down all morning, though. Down to 254s. Again, the ISM data, I think, should move markets a little bit more. I don't really trade Forex, Cash. Please stop saying it. I might buy 26.1 is what I might look at buying. Right here. Yeah, just to put it into perspective, we are green if you look at this. So we're actually green in every account we have, but thinking about buying it. It might bounce. Here's 125, right? Just to give you guys like a little bit of understanding here about some levels. Here's 125 right here. Just to show you how much markets follow these $0.25 levels. This is 125. Now, it might not hold, but it at least reacts to it initially, if that makes sense, right? Again, so it might not hold perfectly, but it should at least react to it. Well, if he listens when I ask him not to, it's fine. Google coming down though. Look at Google. 283s down to 281s. So again, 3 minutes, guys. 3 minutes. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. ISM data dropping in 2 minutes. Let me check the news on the tape real quick. Deutsche price target on Amazon 300 from 278. All right, guys, we got ISM PMI data. Two minutes. Again, hit the live button next to the play button, put it in 2x speed. We'll cover it as soon as it drops. Excuse me. AMD's still breaking down here, though, guys. Look at Google. Google now technically red. AMD down. We've actually seen some negative reactions here. Maybe the market's waiting for ISM data. I don't know. Market does look heavy. Again, check out Top Step. You want to help support the channel. No PDT in futures. Day trade the S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, Russell, Gold. Very similar to day trading stocks. No PDT roll. Very reliable payouts. Great way to learn. Limited risk is $50 a month for the base one. If you fail it, you're out $50. You pass it, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. Again, they're some of the most reliable in the game. You can check them out right here. They're sponsor mine. I'm biased. 1 minute left, chat. 1 minute. All right, here we go. Let's see what they show up as. Again, ISM manufacturing PMI expected at 49.5. 49.5. 49.5 drops in about 40 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. We appreciate it. You'll catch up. Timer's a little bit early. We still got about 20 seconds left. 20 seconds. Again, hit the live button. Make sure you're on time. All right, guys. 10 seconds. Really about 10 seconds right now, but hit the live button. Market sideways leading into this. It's expected today at 49.4, 49.4. And here's the report right now. Okay, 48.7. 48.7, weaker than expected. 48.7 for ISM manufacturing PMI, weaker than expected. 48.7, weaker than expected for ISM manufacturing PMI data versus 49.4 expected. 48.7 versus 49.4 expected. Weaker than expected manufacturing sector here. Low PMI 48.7 versus 49.4. So weaker than expected ISM manufacturing. Prices showed up at 58 versus 62. Weak, slower prices as well. 48.7. Here's the data on screen. Again, ISM manufacturing PMI 48.7 versus 49.5. NASDAQ is reacting negatively to these numbers here. Dropping pretty quickly here. 26.1s almost for the NASDAQ here. 26.1s. Weaker than expected for manufacturing. NASDAQ coming down some. 48.7 versus 49.5 expected. Data is positive in what way, Kesh? You mean it's higher likelihood of rate cuts in December? Is that the way it's positive? It's weaker for U.S. manufacturing is what this data is. Below 50 indicates a contraction. So the more below 50 it is, the more contraction in manufacturing is what happened. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it could mean that yields might drop a little bit on this data, showing weakness in manufacturing. And again, that's something that we actually are seeing right now as a dynamic to this. Again, look at yields fall. So yields are down into 10 p.m. as they're under 4.1% as of now. The data was weaker for manufacturing. So whatever you want to learn from that, weaker for manufacturing, it probably means the odds of a rate cut are going to increase for December. But it was weaker for manufacturing. For the Institute of Supply Management, weaker for manufacturing. Again, we'll see what that means. But yeah, that's what happened here. All right, my friends. Again, if you haven't already, check out TopStep. Beautiful way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose money. Doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow, you're probably going to lose money trying to day trade. Does it make any sense to fund your own account thousands of dollars? Does it make any sense to try to day trade and lose thousands of your own money? Makes absolutely no sense. Instead, try TopStep. Great way to learn. Most day traders lose money. And they're some of the most reliable in the game with payouts. You can reset funded accounts with the same rules as previous ones. All that good stuff. Just a great way to learn. Just a great way to learn. They're a sponsor of mine. Some of the most reliable. Zero commission on TopStep X. That's what I'm day trading on, and I'm green in every funded account that I have on TopStep X. If you want to see my stats real quick, I can show you my stats if you want. But yeah, we're pretty green. No matter where we look in these funded accounts, we're pretty green. Last week was very green for almost every one. This was my best one. Look at this graph from last week, guys. And again, if you want to day trade with me on TopStep, I'll put the link up one more time. Look at that graph. This might be the top 3 greatest graphs ever. And again, I'm going to close this stream. As soon as we close this stream, it's going to bring you to tomorrow's stream. So sit tight. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, we'll probably see you guys later for Palantir, actually. Yeah. But I'll see you guys. We'll schedule the stream for tomorrow just in case. Y'all have a great time. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Again, as soon as we close this stream, it'll bring you to tomorrow's stream. Oh yeah, here's the TopStep link if you want to check it out. They're a sponsor. I'm biased. I get paid by them, so understand all this stuff.